Can I take a break?
No.
For a second?
This week in NBA 2K17, we have a double rep weekend for all games played in My Park and in 2K Pro-Am walk-on games. So while you can earn double rep, hit up the Do NBA 3X tournament on Saturday the 14th and get that VC during the high-stakes ante-up the next day on Sunday. Get out there and take advantage of double rep before it ends Monday at midnight. In my team, the throwback packs for the Boston Celtics and Houston Rockets have been released. These storied franchises have plenty of players to improve your lineup, and if you complete the Rockets' historic collection, you can get a Diamond Clyde Drexler. Finally, it's time for Top Play of the Month. Stick around to vote for who you think should win $200,000 VC. Hey guys, I'm Rachel and welcome to this week's episode of NBA 2K TV. The second qualification round for the 2K17 All-Star Tournament was a nail-biter. Thousands of teams came out to compete for a chance to win $250,000 and a trip to All-Star Weekend. Here's Scott OG with the details.
Thanks, Rachel. The second qualification round of the All-Star Tournament did not disappoint. Worthing Colt and last year's champion Mr. Styles had the biggest story of the day with the new look Drucker Bacher's HG. They held the lead going into the final minutes of the game day. With only 2 minutes left, Top Notch took the top spot, only to be passed up 1 minute later by Make It Happen. And it didn't end there. With only seconds remaining in the round, Wet Boys finished their 10th win and knocked out Drucker Bacher's HG from contention. On the other side, SJ, Esports, and Redemption qualified, and the Late Night Crew returns from last year. These teams are now in the running for the $250,000 prize and tickets to All-Star Saturday Night and the All-Star Game. There are still plenty of elite teams that have not qualified yet, but only 3 more chances to get in. Winners win, and I'm out.
And now joining me at the desk, we have Scott OG and Chris Manning. And Scott, like you mentioned earlier, a lot of the elite teams on paper haven't yet qualified, and maybe this is due to the change in format this year.
It's different as opposed to last year. And, we had some positives and negatives last year, about, people have their idea of what they think it should be to qualify. Again, second year doing this, but one thing that I love that I'm seeing is that teams who got into the tournament last year, those same top teams, a lot of them are back. So the cream is still rising to the top.
Yeah, I mean, you have 5 hours to get your best score, right? You lose, your score freezes. So what I am seeing and what I love about this tournament is that there's a little bit of pressure on the line. And I think you saw a lot of teams playing comfortably when they're just playing casual pro-am, but when there's $250,000 on the line, a trip to obviously the All-Star Weekend, all the festivities, there's a little bit of pressure on their shoulders. And I think we saw that last year. I think you're seeing this a little bit this year as well.
Yeah.
So last week, that kid Kuda mentioned that his team's MyPLAYER archetypes matched up perfectly. So how important do you guys think that's going to be when it comes to All-Star Tournament time?
That's a great question. I think that is to, like Kid Kuda, who's their point guard, kind of the style that they want to play and how it kind of best fits them. Meaning that I'm seeing a lot of teams, which a lot of our guys who create these MyPLAYERs want to be shooters, but they're suffering on the defensive side. But you're seeing teams that have made it have a guy that's a defensive stopper or somebody that's committed to the defensive side of the ball. So archetypes are as important as ever. We did a lot to them this year to really differentiate players between this year and last year.
Rebounding as well, I think, is one of the most important ones that I think a lot of people overlook when creating these archetypes. And one big difference this year compared to last year is you saw a lot of teams averaging 120, 130 points per game. This year, the highest team is at 83. So what that tells me is you're not seeing this massive offensive powerhouse that we might have saw last year. You're seeing more defense involved. You're seeing more ball distribution. I think archetypes have a lot to play into that, and you can't overlook that.
So most of the players on the qualified teams have grand badges. So how important do you think it is to max out your player before the tournament?
No question about it. I mean, when you go in, you're playing for 250,000, you have to max your guy out, I believe. Because you're gonna go in there with guys, with 5 other dogs that I call them, that are hungry, and they've been just playing and getting their guy ready. So you want your guy at your best, no different than when we were playing, right? You wanna go out there and make sure that you're at your best. You put in the work to do so. These guys are doing the same thing in the digital world.
When Kobe Bryant got hot in real life, you fed him the ball. When that grand badge activates and that thing turns red, the best teams are gonna feed, because that's where the power is, right? It's in that grand badge, and that's why you grinded so hard to earn that grand badge. And it lasts for what, about a minute of gameplay? So a slasher, for example, when he gets his grand badge, you're gonna wanna continue to feed him on the drives. You're gonna wanna have him cutting a lot, give him the ball, he's gonna absolutely dunk on anybody, right? It's gonna be really important to watch for that because it does happen in such a limited amount of time, but it can mean such a difference in the game.
Probably the timing of when it comes in the game is
That's a
really
great
crucial.
point. That's
also.
a great point. Yeah, and that's the thing, because the grand badge is that uh-oh type moment, because you can get that different ways. So it lights up. Now strategies have to change.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys want to earn those grand badges, then you want to make sure that you're using every opportunity that we have available. And what's really cool this year is NBA 2K partnered with Fitbit for Fitbit Boost, which basically rewards your real-life workouts in-game. Here we go. Okay guys, so here's the deal. You need 10,000 steps in order to get the Fitbit Boost on your MyPLAYER. And I know when you think about steps, you think about walking, but today I'm gonna show you some body weight exercises that you can do pretty much anywhere in order to get those numbers up and get that boost on your MyPLAYER. I have my Fitbit Blaze on and I'm at 419 steps. And for our first exercise, let's start with jumping jacks. So just those simple 30 seconds of jumping jacks already got me up to 467 steps. Next up is burpees. Five burpees, 45 steps. So if that variation of burpees is a little bit too difficult for you, all you need to do is get rid of the push-up and then don't jump on your way up. But what you still want to do is make sure that you swing your arm after the squat to make sure that you're getting your body moving and getting those steps in. Yeah, that actually got me a lot of steps too. And another exercise that is sure to get your heart rate up, and you can do it pretty much anywhere, are switch lunges. Do a lunge on one leg, jump up in the air, switch your legs, and then go down with the other leg. 70 steps, 10 lunge jumps. So if you guys have access to a gym, one of the easiest ways to get your steps up is by stepping on a treadmill. So as you guys can see, that short 5-minute workout got me over 600 steps. So of course you can go out walking and get your steps that way, but if you could just take a 5-minute break from the game, get yourself moving, get that blood flowing, then you're sure to get that Fitbit Boost in no time. And if you don't already have a Fitbit, 2K TV is giving one away. Win a Fitbit by reaching out to us over social media using the hashtag NBA 2K Fitbit Giveaway. And we're back with Scott and Chris to talk more AllStar Tournament. Another thing that we've noticed this year is a lot of teams on offense are playing 4 out, 1 in, really spreading the floor, but then on defense, settling into a 2-3, at least to start the game.
Yeah.
So why do you think that these teams are choosing those sets?
Well, a lot of them, depending on your archetype, some teams I've seen want to be really big and play kind of that 2-3 extended, force you to shoot those contested threes. And then you got some teams on offense are playing 4 out, 1 in, trying to just maybe pass it around and play the numbers game on the weak side and try to get, open threes that way. But really, the wrinkle and the weakness in a 2-3 is that high post and working in there. So if you got guys, GFG last year had a guy that could shoot it real well in there. Druckerbacher's were the same way, where they would make them pay, dump it in there, knock that 15-foot down or make it, collapse and kick out. That's the best way to break that zone. So I don't think just spreading it out, going 4 around 1 is going to be what I call a championship solution.
You mentioned kind of shooting that mid-range. If you're going up against somebody that's, let's say, a stretch big, that's going to be a problem for when you're playing that kind of defense. So I think it's game by game dependent on the archetypes, to be honest, but I also think that a good defensive strategy to start off the game is smart, because you want to trap guys, you want to kind of throw them off their game a little bit, you want to frustrate players, which is something that, let's be honest, once you get frustrated in NBA 2K, you completely go away from your game, okay?
And along the lines of strategy, what lineup do you think is going to work best?
Well, I really think it starts at the point guard position, because when you start putting these teams together, you have the different archetype decisions you have to make. Are you going to have a playmaking point guard? Are you going to have a scoring point guard? And it all really starts there. Others will benefit from badges like Dimer, and getting that Hall of Fame Dimer badge is going to benefit everybody around that point guard.
Along with the point guard, I feel is like the quarterback of the squad is the stretch big, as opposed to the glass cleaner, as opposed to you just want a guy, a man in the middle. I would kind of suggest having a playmaker at the 1, space out maybe 2 or 3 shooters. The 4 spot is really the big decider here of what teams or how they're going to play. Are they going to go 4 out 1 in like you were mentioning, like a lot of our teams are doing, or they want to control the glass? Scoring, and the way it's showing right now is that there's 4 shooters on the floor. But as we saw with the Druckerbackers last year, the champion, 2 bigs. So, right. And they were controlling everything inside. So you live by the 3, you die by the 3.
What up, 2K fans? Shakedown 2012 here. It's the 2K TV WoW Top Play of the Month. We have 4 contenders for the 200,000 VC prize, and you choose the winner. It's time to vote, so let's go. First, we have the reigning Top Play of the Month, King BTB. He gets the steal, dives on the ball, launches it from half court, and gets the putback assist. He must be the luckiest tryhard of all time. But then we have King Exposem, who tries to one-up him, throwing a full court heave off the top of the backboard, and then the putback. That's one of the rarest plays I've ever seen. Next up is David Joseph 9, winning a My Team online game with a full court shot. It's time to pack up, no OT needed. And finally, Liner Bean 3, throwing down the self-pass 360 over 3 defenders. So vote now for your top play of the month, and remember, you can submit your best plays on social media using the hashtag 2KTVWow. This was your boy Shake. I'll catch you in the next one.
All right, guys, before we go, Chris, are there any teams that have not qualified yet that we should still have our eye on?
Team Throwdown, 576 wins coming into the tournament. Did not qualify yet, but the most Pro-Am wins to any team to date. So when you look at the teams that are out there and grinding and playing, 576 wins, that's a lot of Pro-Am. So I definitely think we should keep an eye out for them.
They were in last year's tournament as well.
Yes, I believe so. So
we'll have to see if they're the same people.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing too. You know, you had the off season, you had the break. You probably had friendships break up over last year. I know a lot of those teams were livid at each other after that tournament.
Scott, is there any team that you're like, these guys might take it all the way?
As opposed to last year, it seemed like the more excited we were about some of these teams that were scoring 115 a game, we thought they were gonna go far and they had early exit. This team called One Way has 120 wins and 109 losses. Somehow they snuck in, but I'm not gonna doubt them. So who knows, I just wanna see what they do. Like they got in early, but obviously they did well. So let's see what happens.
Who knows, maybe in those losses, they were working on a certain strategy. So maybe, you know, it's almost like they were using those games to practice.
Good point, very good point. Yeah, they could be, but it got 109 losses. I mean, that is a lot of L's.
That's more L's than my team has.
Yeah,
we got some L's on our record.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a bit. So, I mean, they got in through this format, which I feel like is a significant improvement from last year. So we'll see where it goes.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Chris, for joining me. We'll check in with you guys soon.
Sounds good.
And remember, guys, it's not too late for your team to qualify for the All-Star Tournament. There is another qualification round on Saturday. We will be back next week with more updates on the All-Star Tournament. And thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.